Welcome to Friday.
Hey.
And it's the Policy Address Friday.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff.
Yep.
Lots of stuff.
Yep.
And yesterday we have analyzed the structure and the key points of it.
Yeah.
Today we are going to talk about the GBP.
Yep.
Normally GBP is British pounds, right?
Yes. Great Britain pounds.
In a financial,
yeah.
But for us, GBP is the good, the bad, and the
political.
Yes, GBP.
Okay.
All right.
I know the Clint Eastwood fans were expecting something a little different, but we're going with good, the bad, and the political.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
the political part is quite ugly. That's what. That's what you mean.
Always. But that's why it's so entertaining.
Okay, good.
Okay,
all right, the good.
The good. Okay, like for somebody from my point of view, quite often I think the less the government does, the better. Right? That's my libertarian leanings. I think the less they do, the better. And you know, one of the things about the reaction is that a lot of people were like not happy with it or just gave it a pass. That I think is actually a good thing. If everybody's unhappy in a big multi kind of omnibus bill like this, it means you didn't just give somebody everything they wanted, right? Everybody kind of got a little bit. They're not really satisfied, but that's good. Keep them hungry. So I think that was good. I think the universal pension scheme was a bad idea, and I'm glad to see the chief executive pour cold water all over that. I think that they've got to find other ways to take care of our elderly. And they have seen how it has led to ruination in other nations. No need for us to repeat those mistakes, right? Okay, so that was good. And one thing, but having said that, I'm like the anti-government.
No, having said that, they have put 50 billion.
Well,
allocated
earmarked,
for that,
which is like yes, and this government, and Hong Kong. But I don't mean this CY Lung government. I mean Hong Kong government. They love to sandbag. Oh, don't worry, we're going to put the money over here. Next year they're like, oh, look, didn't spend it, surplus. Yay! Look for that money to sit there for a long time. The other thing is that, so after saying I'm like anti-government spending, anti-government activity, I do recognize that there are people that have severe mental health issues who don't have any family, and there's no charity that can effectively take care of these people, and the government has announced that they had a number of measures to increase funding.
That has been my key
for mental health.
Yeah,
for you as well.
Concerns, yeah.
So that, I'm down with that.
Yes.
I think that's quite okay.
I think smart cities is a good initiative too.
Smart city, yeah. It depends on how they go about it. If they just pour money into government people trying to be like technologists of the future.
No.
That's no good.
It must be energy conservation.
Well, if they can deregulate, certain things, that's a good way to do it. If they can, for example, in zoning and the way that buildings are used, if they can get away from make that simpler and easier for companies to work through, they can install more technology.
Okay.
So I think that's.
Good.
Any other good? Any other good you want to highlight today?
All the green initiatives.
And the green initiatives we talked about yesterday. Yeah.
All the green initiatives. Okay, the bad.
Okay. I like measures to liberalize the economy. I didn't hear much about that in there. Now maybe that'll come in the budget. John Sung did have a little after talk, and he said, "I don't see any, taxes moving anywhere." Of course, some people would like them lowered, but at least he's not going to raise them. But I would have liked to see more liberalizing measures in the economy. Almost all the economy section was. This is a very important part of our economy. Let me tell you how well it's doing.
Well,
nothing.
They have this new arbitration center.
But that was already but that was new.
That was last week.
Yeah. It's all. And then there's the political.
Okay. Not much bad things.
Wow, I could go. Well, okay. Well, here's the other. Okay, well, here's two bad things. More money for developing cinema, right? And I mean, you look at it, and one of their objectives was to introduce movies to young people and cultivate an appreciation and increase, viewership of movies. I'm like, because kids hate movies?
I think he wants to put that in to reflect his learnings from Korea. You remember the chief executive went to Korea, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is his take. So I'm going to set up all cinemas.
Yeah, I mean, really, okay, number one, private sector responsibility, done. And number two, this whole, to cultivate an appreciation of movies. What kid isn't always begging their parents, can I go to the movies? Can we watch a movie? Can I watch a movie? I'm like, anyways, it just seems silly. And then the agricultural thing, which admittedly was announced before, but I think it's just completely cynical politics, by the agricultural nomination committee votes. Because, really? We need more agriculture because we're all starving to death here? I mean, no. I don't get it. So that was the bad.
But I think the agricultural policy, if the chief executive wants to really push it, he has to state it more clearly. It's not really a...
Well, there's no real justification for it, though.
Well, the only justification is the growing interest of the NENTNDA, the Northeast New Territory, New Development Area.
Yeah.
A lot of the younger generation believe that they would participate in agriculture. So unless you want to bring in a green culture, of a lot of people can have an interaction with the soil. Mind you,
country parks.
Mind you, the United Nations has defined 2015.
Yeah.
Or has named 2015.
Yeah.
As the International Year of Soil.
Okay, well, get your hands dirty, kids. But you know, we
but unless they want to do it, like popularizing agriculture or farming.
But I mean,
rather than like trying to create another industry of new farming, then I think
like, hey,
the
kids,
latter one is much more difficult.
I mean, like, hey kids, you know, I'll grow up and be farmers. I mean, like, I'm sorry, that train has left the station. So that.
Well, unless you put in a lot of money, then pouring a lot of money.
But if you have to put a lot of money in, then you know what can't you put a lot of money into and kind of push water?
Okay. The good, the bad, the political.
So the youth policy address, it seemed to me that there were like, okay, he was setting out in terms of youth. There's like, okay, there's Hong Kong youth. There are two types of youth you can be. You can be the love China, take advantage of the opportunities that we are going to create for you by putting ETOs and new offices in China,
Wuhan
and Shandong, and go on exchanges with your Chinese brethren so you can learn how to go have jobs and work there after and make money and, you know, then buy a flat. And that's the future for Hong Kong youth. And then it was like, and then there's you jerky rebels publishing undergrad and Hong Kong nationalism and occupying our streets that are taking us to anarchy. And it was like, you know, like those were two completely distinct things, and you know, you could have the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, and you had to pick one in life. And I mean, it just seemed a little too, you know, a little too simplistic, I think, by bifurcating, you know, the options of where youth could take their futures, because people are more complex than that.
All right.
And I think that there are a lot of people who were out protesting who also would like to be responsible adults. It's not like one or the other. So, anyhow, that was political. Pandems, of course, were all upset. You know, Q&A section yesterday, you know, as expected. And, you know, but again, pro-establishment groups, you know, of course, they kind of have to say that everybody gives it a pass, but I was surprised at the amount of grumbling that was coming out. Some of it was expected, like the Hong Kong Federation of Industries. You know, we're talking about, you know, oh, we'd like to see a new industrial policy for Hong Kong. We haven't seen that. But I'm like, that's like the agricultural thing. I'm like, sorry, that train has left the stations. We're a services town, and that ain't going to change. You know, guys like Michael Tin, you know, New People's Party, you know, were kind of, it was okay. Liberal Party, you know, they've been showing their kind of rebel stripes lately. They were not so thrilled with it. So, you know, I don't know, the DAB. What do you think of the DAB's
Well, they will
reaction?
Definitely have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Has been mentioned in the policy address. And
Yeah.
I think if housing is a key issue, and if they can have any inputs into the housing part, then they will be happy. I think the government has been listening to a lot of people, including DAB, that you should try to resell the public housing flats. But they are now doing it as a pilot scheme of new public housing flats. You have a choice of you bought that, and then you move out from your old public housing flats. I think this is all right. I think this is all right, and I think DAB would love that. Because in terms of district council election, moving voters from one area to another area, it's very sensitive. So if the DAB are quite certain that the new housing flats are all in
DAB strongholds,
then they will support that. I think that's the politics behind the housing policy. I think that's the politics behind the housing policy.
So there's your political reactions, and of course the most important political constituency that CY has to satisfy is Beijing. And I'm sure they were very happy with this policy address. Tick that box. They'll like this one, I think. So that was the good, the bad, the political. Your word of the day?
Stronghold.
You like stronghold, huh? I had a few for you. Ruination, bifurcation, but you like stronghold.
Bifurcation is good too. You pick one.
Let's go with bifurcation.
Okay. Bifurcation.
Things that are separated in two. We are bifurcated at the waist. Because we split into two legs.
All right. Okay.
So there you go. See, I bifurcated my two fingers. There you go.
Okay. 2 fingers.
2 fingers
Two
bifurcation.
fingers.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay, so
Have a nice weekend.
You bet. You
Cheers.
too. Cheers.